All right. This is geometry, and this is your first video. So, give you a little idea of what we're going to do here. This first video is going to cover the fundamentals of geometry, basically how to speak the language of geometry. We're going to cover some definitions. We're going to draw some pictures so you have an idea of what we're going to be talking about. Now remember, this is your first video that you are going to be taking notes on. So at any point in time that you need, press the pause button so you can have extra time to copy the definitions or draw pictures, just to take your notes in general. So remember to pause if you need to. We have some definitions already written out for you, and I would like to talk a little bit about those first. So here we go. First thing is a point. A point just denotes a location, just like on a map. Okay, the size of the dot does not matter. So a point is plain and simple, a point. It just represents a certain location. A line goes forever and ever in both directions. So we draw a line like that. When you have an arrow at the end, we assume that it goes forever and ever in both directions, and a line never stops. A ray is similar to a line except for the fact that it only goes forever and ever in one direction. So if we can imagine a super high-powered laser, it only shoots in one direction. And then we have a segment. Now a segment is what you're used to. A segment has two endpoints, so it does not go forever in either direction, and it can be measured. Lines and rays cannot be measured with a ruler or a yardstick because they go on forever. A plane, that's kind of like the floor you're walking on. A plane is a two-dimensional space that you can walk on. Collinear, the definition of collinear just means that they are points on the same line. So if we were to have a line, it actually has an infinite number of points on it, but we'll just say that those 4 points on that line, that is called collinear. And coplanar is similar to collinear, except for those would be points that are sitting on the same plane. So if you were watching this video while you were in class, every one of you students sitting at a desk in the classroom would be on the same plane. Okay? So those are just some definitions to help you get started so you understand what we're talking about through the semester. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about how we name different things. So the first thing is a point. How do you name a point? Well, in geometry, we just name it with one capital letter. Okay, if you were looking at a map, we have a point named Chicago. We have a point named Gurnee. We have a point named Los Angeles. We have a point, you get what I'm saying. They're labeled, but in the world of geometry, we just label each vertex with a single letter. A line, there are multiple ways to name a line. The first way is 2 capital letters on the line, or we have a lowercase script letter at one of the arrows. So we have a line here, and this line can actually be named 7 different ways. The first and easiest way would be just to call it line T with the scripted letter that's by the arrow, and that's going to be a lowercase script. Otherwise, you just have to pick any 2 points on that line and put the line symbol above it. So you need to have both arrows. So we can call it line AB, we can call it line BA, we can call it line AC, we can call it line CA, and we can call it line BC, or we can call it line CB. And the reason why it doesn't matter which order or which 2 points is because you have to remember a line goes on forever and ever. So it won't matter. It'll eventually touch that point as long as it's on the line. And you only use 2. You do not call this line ABC. The next one is a ray. Now these rays, they're the same ray in a way because they have the same letters. But you name a ray with a starting point and a go-to point. And you just put an arrow pointing to the right. Okay, so XY is the same, like this we would also call XY. Even though it's pointing to the left, we don't change the direction of our arrows for our symbols. So if you see 2 capital letters with a line on top of it with one arrow, that means it's talking about a ray. and this would be the first letter is your starting letter, and the second letter is the go-to letter. So this was starting at X and going to Y, and it keeps going. Same with this. It starts at X, it goes to Y, and it keeps on going. Okay, this is another example of ray XY. The direction of the picture does not matter. It's just how we talk about it. Okay, a segment. A segment gets named with 2 capital letters and a segment symbol. So we have MN or NM. And that's it. Those are your only 2 options. You must use the endpoints. So it's as if we were measuring something. So if we took a piece of string and we were going to measure it, it would not matter if you started on the right side and measured to the left or the left side and measured to the right. It's going to be the same length, so that's why it doesn't matter which order you write the letters as long as you just use the endpoints. And the last is a plane. A plane we name with 3 capital letters that are on that plane, so we can call this plane ABC. We could also call it BCA, BAC, any order. And the other way is to just call it by the capital scripted letter, so plane X. All right, so that should help you out with how we name certain things. All right, so moving on. And again, if you need to go back and watch any of that, pause the video, feel free to do so. We don't pause and take time in the videos because that just makes the videos a lot longer. You have a pause button, use that as you need. So then that way, if you ever need to go back and watch it again, you don't have to wait through all the pauses. This is just a couple of notes. You don't really have to write anything down here. This is just a little bit of practice of how we talk about geometry terms. So this says A is on L. Notice how the letters were written. A single capital letter means it's a point, and a lowercase scripted letter represents a line. So a way we can describe this picture is point A is on line L. But if it just says A is on L, because of the way everything is written, that's how you know that we are talking about a point on a line. Or we could also say L contains A, which means line L contains or has point A on it. R and S intersect at M. So R and S are lowercase scripted letters, intersect at a capital letter. So we have 2 lines that intersect at a point, M. Okay, and that's what this picture is using. Then we have capital letter A and lowercase scripted M are on capital scripted R. That means point A and line M are in plane R. Or vice versa, R contains line M and point A. All right, so just a little bit of stuff. It's a little bit of getting used to. I'm telling you, a lot about geometry is just getting used to the new type of language. We'll talk about it. Make sure you're taking notes on it. Make sure you practice. And we're going to move on to a few more things, and then we're going to start drawing some pictures. It's just practice. It's not an art class. It's just to help you understand what's going on. So 2 lines intersect at a point. That's a true statement. All these are true statements. So we have a line, and we draw another line, and 2 lines will only intersect at 1 point. 2 planes intersect at a line. Now this is a difficult picture to draw. So if you look at the room you are sitting in, you have probably 4 walls, and you have a ceiling and a floor. Well, if you were to look at one of the walls and the floor that you're sitting on, you'll notice that the wall and the floor intersect all in one big corner across the entire room. That's the best way I can describe a plane intersecting another plane, which makes a line. Okay, because from a video, I can't point to you, but just think about the room you're sitting on right now. And the last one is a plane and a line intersect at a point. Well, the best way I can describe this is if you were to take the pen or the pencil that you are taking your notes on, pick your note paper up off the ground, take your pen and just poke it really quick. You're going to take your pen or pencil, and it's just going to pop one hole in that paper. And that's why a point or a line and a plane will intersect at one point. All right? Drawing some pictures. You will have to draw some pictures in this class. You will not have to draw a lot of them, so this is just a little bit of practice. It says A is on M. Now, we already talked about the language. We have a capital letter A and a lowercase letter or scripted letter M. So basically, this is saying that point A is on line M. So for you to practice this, all you would have to do is draw a line, label it M at the corner, and take a dot, put it on that line, call it A, and you're done. You are good to go. So for this next one, and the next couple, say 2, 3, and 4, I would actually like to see if you can handle this on your own. So why don't you pause the video and try doing those 3 questions without my help. And then when you are ready, click play and see if you got them correct. Now, they don't have to look exactly like mine. They just have to be similar enough where you understand the concept. So pause the video, give it a try. Let's see if you did it correctly. So we have M and N intersect at T. So we have 2 lines. One of them is named M. The other one is named N. And they intersect at a point T. If yours looks similar to that, you are good to go. Capital P is not on lowercase scripty m. So that means that we have a line M and we have a point P that is not on that line. And then we have lowercase scripty r and capital letter X are on capital scripty M. That means we have a big old plane named M, and we have a line named R and a point named X on that plane. Okay? That's that. So we have a couple more. We have 2 more practice problems, and then we have a challenge question. Again, if you would like, pause the video, give it a try on your own, and then we are done with the first day of notes. So let's see if you got 5, 6 in the challenge correct. Number 5 is difficult. So here's a little tip. If you want to practice drawing intersecting planes, draw one line, and then you draw an L, and you draw another L, and there you go. Then you just draw this line over here. We have one of the planes named M, one of the planes named N, and then we have them intersecting at line XY. If yours looks anything close to that, you're doing great. Number 6, we have line M intersects W at Z. Now notice we have a lowercase, a capital scripty, and we have a point. So that means we have a plane named W, and we have line M that intersects the plane at point Z. Anything similar to that, you are good to go. And the last one, we have a challenge. And the challenge is going to start with a big plane. His name is X. We have L is in, so we have a line L that is in the plane. A is on L. So there's our A. Then we have line M intersecting X at A. So now we had a line whose name is M, which intersects the plane at A. And the last, B, is on M, but it's not in plane X. So then you just have to put point B. Now, if you got anything close to that, you're doing phenomenal for your first video of taking notes. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, you know what to do. We're going to talk about it in class tomorrow, so make sure if you have any questions on this, you ask. And before you get concerned, no, you are not going to have to draw like an artist in this class. This is just to help you understand some of the concepts that we are going to be talking about throughout this course. This is just the beginning. All right, this is Longo, and I'm out. See you, bye.